The phrase, "they all look the same to me," is a common stereotype, but it reflects our tendency to perceive our group members as similar while viewing our own group as diverse. For example, consider the endearing stereotype of a witch, an old, haggard, and ugly woman with a bent nose, a broomstick, and, above all, female. This stereotype has persisted through the centuries despite being baseless and an oversimplification of a far more complex reality. But how do stereotypes work? They function by oversimplifying individuals from different social groups, resulting in generalized views. Social psychologists refer to this tendency as the outgroup homogeneity bias, wherein outgroup members are often grouped together under a single set of traits. In a 1982 study by Park and Rothbard involving over 400 participants, they asked them to assess traits of their own group and another group, like masculinity or femininity, and how much they liked these traits. The finding indicated that participants perceived the other group as similar while viewing their own group as more diverse, supporting the outgroup homogeneity principle. This bias also explains why students from the science and humanities departments often group each other together. Recent research by a PhD student reinforced this concept, revealing that students tend to assume similarities in personality and social life among different groups. However, we can't confuse stereotypes as a social phenomenon that only occurs in the outgroups. They can exist within in-groups as well, which means that outgroup homogeneity bias isn't always there. Stereotypes not only shapes our perceptions, but also have real-world effects, leading to misunderstandings, conflicts, and discrimination. It is easier for our brains to create mental shortcuts for outgroup members than to expand the cognitive effort needed to understand complex individual differences. For instance, in job interviews, candidates from certain racial or ethnic backgrounds may face bias, hindering their career opportunities. On the other hand, cultural anthropology emphasizes the role of media in stereotype formation. Walter Lippmann, author of Public Opinion, once questioned, "What is propaganda if not the effort to alter the picture to which men respond, to substitute one social pattern for another? What is class consciousness but a way of realizing the world?" Media outlets often portray stereotypical images and narratives that reinforce existing societal stereotypes. Research has shown that those who consume news on social media tend to exhibit more stereotypes, while individuals who actively participate in diverse discussions and have larger social networks are less prone to stereotypes. Understanding these biases is crucial for breaking down stereotypes and fostering inclusive and open-minded societies. To reduce stereotypes and promote inclusive societies, encourage meaningful interactions between different social groups, provide education, and foster empathy.